Joao Felix picks up a red card on his Chelsea debut. It's a red card that's going to cost Chelsea almost £1 million. Considering he's been brought in for the remaining of the season, that's 5-6 months, he's going to miss 3 games, he's on 250k a week. It's going to cost almost £1 million. And it's one of the worst things that could happen on your debut, barring scoring an own goal and getting a red card. It is an absolutely disastrous debut for Joao Felix. And the crazy thing is, he was actually the best player on the pitch before getting his marching orders. He was so bright and he was so creative and he created so many opportunities, and Chelsea were actually through on goal. And he probably should have put the ball in the back of the net himself, but he failed to do so. And Chelsea slumped to another defeat, 6th defeat in 8 games, and we lose to Fulham, our little neighbours. And it stings even more. I can't believe we've dropped points to Fulham. I thought just by our birthright of being Chelsea, we were going to beat Fulham, and that's just the way things go. But it just shows how much of a rut we're in and how poor we are at the moment, that even status, even sort of having that edge over Fulham, always having, being able to grind out victories, worst teams before us have done it, and we still couldn't do it. And that is just very disheartening, and it just shows that this Chelsea dip is one of the lowest we've seen in a long, long time. And Chelsea lose in a fashion that is just not acceptable. It just looked like we never considered ourselves better than Fulham. And yes, Fulham are in a great run at the moment, and Willian scoring last night was just the cherry on the cake. 7 years at Chelsea, and if there's anyone who was going to, score against Chelsea, it had to be him. And it was almost a trademark goal. I mean, the way it ricocheted in off of Chalobah was not trademark, but Willian putting Azpilicueta on a piece of bread and toasted him. Azpilicueta is really not up to scratch at the moment. I haven't seen him have one good game this season. And he didn't get close to Willian at all. His former Chelsea teammate should know what he's capable of, should know that that's how he likes to position the ball to shoot. He keeps putting it on his right foot, and then he'll try and curl one in. And Azpilicueta didn't get anywhere near him. And that was sort of the reason why Chelsea was so poor yesterday, was more so defensive errors, rather than going forward and not creating opportunities, which for once was not the case. And that was down to Joao Felix. But defensively, we were so poor. Kepa making mistakes. Chalobah did not cover himself in glory last night. He had a really poor game. And losing to Fulham is just not just a defeat. It's a significant defeat, considering the history, considering the rivalry, and considering that we were not really ever in control of that game. It's a new low that we've reached, and games are coming thick and fast. Crystal Palace on Sunday, and we just can't seem to get ourselves out of this rut. But it's no excuse, because the World Cup break should have been that time to get ourselves out of these string of poor performances, but it hasn't been the case. And Dennis Zakaria, one of Chelsea's brightest players amongst all this misery, is injured, and it looks like he might miss the next few games. And Dennis Zakaria, when he went off, he got a bit of a bit of a rally from the Chelsea fans for his performances, because he's one of the few players putting himself in there with a point to prove, putting his body on the line, high energy, highly physical, everything that Chelsea are lacking at the moment. Dennis Zakaria is trying to bring, and it's just abysmal that no one else is sort of got the same attitude as him. I mean, not many players are built like him, but they should be showing a bit more fight. And that's really what we're lacking at the moment. And that is what Graham Potter has got to find. They've got to find quick, because the more we lose, the more this pressure is just going to mount, obviously, and it's just going to become unbearable for him. And I feel for him. He wanted to take the job. It was obviously an opportunity that comes once in a lifetime, and he didn't want to say no. But, Brighton are ahead of Chelsea by quite some bit, and Brentford and Fulham and a lot of teams are ahead of Chelsea, mid-table teams, and given the money spent, it's just not acceptable. But Joao Felix, aside from the red card, he was actually very, very bright, and if he puts in more performances like that, it would be hard to not be tempted to make his move a permanent one. I think if he'd have signed for Arsenal or Man United, given their current form and their current circumstances, I think everyone would be looking at Joao Felix and going, wow, what a revelation he is. He might come to the Premier League and light it up. I'm not sure he's a goal scorer. He doesn't seem to really have his shooting boots last night, or he doesn't really seem to be much of a finisher. He's never scored that many goals in La Liga for Atletico. But the spaces he was finding himself in, the pockets, the movement was so encouraging, and he really unlocked something for Chelsea last night that I haven't seen for a long time, and I haven't seen any other player be capable of doing as of late. So Joao Felix was hugely promising. Gutted he's going to be suspended and he's going to miss the next 3 games. It's costly financially, but more importantly, it's costly to the team. You know, I think that him coming in was a morale boost, and him walking in the dressing room was a real injection of quality that has now just been taken away for 3 games. But guys, what did you think of the performance last night? What did you think of Joao Felix? Where do we go from here? Are we going to beat Palace at home on Sunday? So many questions. Like, what do you think? If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment box. I'll be sure to get back to you. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully with some more positive news in a bit.